All right, guys, welcome to episode 6 of Growing Your Agency. Super excited today, joined here by Mark Petree of Clix Profit. Mark, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about it. So I know you have an agency. You've been doing this for a while. Tell me a little bit about how you got into the space, and then also, did you start out as your own boss, or did you kind of work at another agency, then you broke out on your own? Tell us a little bit about the background.
Yeah, so I started off as a marketing director working for a company that rented big video screens. If you've ever been to like a concert or any sort of like sporting event, you see those huge video screens.
Yep.
We essentially rented those to events. And
Okay.
so I did that for about 10 years, and that's when I started learning Google AdWords. It started out, I just started cold calling people, trying to find clients, and that wasn't working out. So I was like, it'd be a lot better if they could find us, right? And so that's when I started digging into online marketing, started Google Ads, and really got pretty good with it. Just read everything I could on it. Then about 2.5 years ago, I left that company, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. It's such a small little niche industry. At first, I started looking for another gig within that industry.
Oh, the screens you mean?
In the screen industry, yeah. I was the marketing director for that company for 9 years, so I had a ton of experience in the industry. And so I started looking around for another gig in that industry. And to find something that would have had me making comparable money, I was going to have to move to like Texas or to the East Coast. And I didn't really want to move. And so I was kind of like, well, fuck, what am I going to do with my life? And so I'm like, well, I've got this skill. I know Google Ads. I'm pretty confident with it. And so one of my friends who does SEO, he had a client. It was a limo company, actually. And this guy was running Google Ads. He was spending like $8,000 a month. And my friend said, can you check out his account, because he thinks he's wasting a lot of money in his account, and it could be doing a lot better. So I checked out the account, and I completely redid everything, and I got him down to spending $3,500 a month, but probably tripled the number of leads he was getting. So his ROI was like insane.
What was he spending? Sorry, what was he spending?
Yeah, he was spending $8,000 a month, but he was in a really small market, and so I switched things around, got him down to $3,500 a month in spend, but he was getting even more leads at $3,500 than he was at $8,000, like 2 to 3 times as many. So he was, over the moon. He was super stoked, and I just figured, look, I'm sure there's a ton of these guys out there that have really horrible Google Ads campaigns that are just pissing away money. And so I just picked up a phone and I started calling. And so that was 2.5 years ago. Fast forward, now got, just a little over 4 dozen clients. And so most of them I've gotten from cold calling. And recently I've been getting more referrals, and I've been getting more inbound stuff through relationships. But so that's pretty much how I got where I'm at today.
Love it. So couple things I'm going to dive in there. So when you looked at the account, what were some of the things that you were able to do? Was it, was there any negative keywords that just weren't added in there? Like, what were some of the things? Because I just talked to someone the other day, actually, on one of the podcasts, and they were saying how, a lot of these agencies who, or marketers who I guess are running AdWords, especially if they're incentivized by getting paid percentage of ad spend, you can blow through ad spend, by doing, just some broad match keywords and, not using a lot of negatives. And it's pretty easy to get that, ad spend up there. So what were a few tactics that you did when you took a look at the account? And I guess now that you do with your current agency, when you look at someone's account and you say, oh, this is a little looser than it needs to be.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, generally speaking, with most accounts, it's still the same issue. The first thing I always look at is the search term report, and I
Hmm.
just see how many irrelevant searches they're getting. This account was getting over probably 60% were irrelevant searches. He was
Yep.
yeah he was using a lot of broad match keywords in the account, which you shouldn't do. He didn't have many ad groups, so the click through rate was low because the ads weren't. He wasn't using like SKAGs, single keyword ad
Hmm.
groups, or anything like that.
Yep.
So once I switched over to, just using the other three, modified, broad, phrase, and exact, and kind of rebuilt the campaign. So his click through rate went way up. I added a ton of negative keywords. He had a
Yeah.
decent landing page. He was actually just using his homepage, which I usually use landing pages with clients, but actually his website converts pretty well. And so
Hmm.
we just kept using his website. And yeah, just those changes. I did some bid modifiers based on location and mobile versus desktop, but I don't think that's where most of the results came from. I think it really just came from going from having 30 to 40% relevant searches to going to like 90 to 95% relevant searches. Like that made a
Yeah, that's
huge
huge.
difference. Also lowering its cost per click. He
Hmm.
was bidding at too high of a position. He was going for like, he was like 1.3 to 1.4. And so if you
Hmm.
bid at like 2.5, you can, and also, just having a really high click-through rate, that gives you a better quality score, which,
Yep.
you pay less per click. So, I mean, I probably dropped his cost per click by about 50%, got rid of all those irrelevant search queries he was getting. And so just those two things alone is how you start to see a multiplier effect. And
Yep.
so that's how he ended up getting those results. And so, yeah, he was pretty stoked.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's all really good stuff. So going then into, you said you get a lot of clients through cold calling. I'm very intrigued by this. We do a lot of cold calling ourselves into agencies. Talk to me about the process that you go through. Where do you get the your list from? Are you going to people that you see are advertising on AdWords? Are you going into specific verticals? So it's a couple part question. Like, how do you create the list for yourself? Um, are you testing a script? And then what kind of tools are you using for your outbound calls and all of that? To walk us through that, because I think that's a big pain point for a lot of agencies, a lot of marketers. How do I get clients? 4 dozen clients yourself. That's a good amount of clients. So yeah, walk us through that.
Yeah. So really, when I first started out, what I did was I would just go online and I would look for one, I would recommend, if you're starting out, stick to one vertical, one
Mm-hmm.
industry, because once you can get really good results in that industry, you can use it as a case study. It makes it easier to build the next campaign, and
Mm-hmm.
you can predict a little bit better, as far as the results you can get for a client if you kind of have some sort of benchmark for the results your other client got. So as far as in the beginning, yeah, I went online and I searched and I looked for people that had shitty ads, shitty landing pages, and I called them up because I assumed they weren't getting great results. Um, these days, I don't do any of the calling myself, but generally, what I will do is hire some outsourcer off Upwork to build me a list. I use the website isearchfrom.com, which is great because you can search from different IP addresses and see local results. And
Yep.
so I have an outsourcer go through the top, let's say 200 cities in the US for a particular keyword, and then just have them copy and paste the URL of the domain into, like a Google Sheet. And
Yep.
then I will have someone go in and try to find the contact information associated with that URL,
Yep.
because having the owner's name really helps a ton. And even with doing that, I typically tell my appointment setters to do a little research. Don't just, because a lot of times the information's incorrect. So I usually have my appointment setters go to the website first, just do double check, make sure the name is right, because you get one shot and then you can't touch it for probably 2-3 weeks, until you want to buy back, or maybe even longer. And so that's pretty much, yeah. And so, yeah, and I definitely have a script that we use. Generally, how it works is I won't have them get into too much detail.
So they're setting demos for you, right? So
exactly.
you go to Upwork, tell them to create the list, go to these 200 cities or whatever, use this word, build the list, Google Sheet, you get the site, you get the name, and then the appointments. So a data entry person does that. Then the appointment setter goes down, calls down, hey, I'd love to set an appointment with Mark. He's a Google AdWords specialist, expert, whatever. Got it. Okay.
Oh, so and then between that one part I left out, I use HubSpot's great, and so HubSpot allows you to, it'll count how many calls, it'll record the calls, so you can really start to figure. Because what you want to figure out is, how many calls does it take for an appointment, how many appointments does it take for a sale, right? That's how you can figure out how to scale.
Exactly. So how many? By the way, I'm just really curious because we're very sales driven as well. Like, what's your close rate? And by the way, are you the only one closing right now? They're all for you, right? All the demos.
Yeah, actually. So, yeah, I'm the only one who closes. Yeah, that's one of the toughest things to. That's the thing that stops from scaling really quickly, is because I only have so much time in the day, and I'm the one who's got to be doing the closing. So that definitely can slow things down a bit, but. And that's why recently I haven't been doing. I've been getting into pay-per-lead a little bit, because I like that a lot more, because I don't have to be there to close it. These sales guys can close it. You're just looking. So essentially, pay-per-lead is you find clients that just pay for leads. So I'm still doing the same thing. I'm still building a Google or Bing ad campaign.
But instead of ad spend plus retainer fees, it's just all in. Hey, you only get results you only pay if you get results.
Exactly. It's an easier close. Sure, there's more risk involved. I mean, you have to be pretty confident you can get the leads and get them for a certain amount of money, or you're going to be losing money. But it's you can scale much, much quicker, because the weakest link of the PPC management is me, and my time. But with pay-per-lead, it's a very easy close, because they're not paying money. Well, they do pay. For me, they pay a small upfront, but that's credited towards the leads. So if they're not getting leads, I'll refund them. So that's what I've been focusing on more lately. I'm still doing the PPC management, but not doing cold calling for it anymore. But not to say you can't. That's how I built my whole business. I found it really it can definitely be more of a grind selling PPC management than pay-per-lead, and so it's a little riskier for the pay-per-lead though. So
yeah. Totally. And I'm really interested in the pay-per-lead stuff as well. We'll talk about that in just a second. So talk to us about how you're charging. So like we're talking about, obviously the pay-per-lead. I get that, but typically, are you charging, percentage of ad spend? Are you doing retainer? Is it based on like scope of services? Like, what does it look like pricing wise? Is there a setup fee? I think a lot of people are, trying to figure that piece out. What does that look like?
Yeah, so I've used two different models in the past. One model is, you charge a setup fee, then a monthly management fee. They own the account. What I've switched to recently is I own the account. I don't charge a setup fee. And I don't even give account access. All I try to determine with the client is, okay, how many phone calls do you want a month? How many leads do you want a month? What would a successful month look like for you with regards to how many leads you get a day or a month? trying to figure that out. And then yeah, building out the account, just doing I haven't been doing contracts for those types of clients because I don't have to, because I own the account.
Yeah.
This is something I'm trying. I've only been doing it for 2 or 3 months. I've been loving it so far, because clients tend to focus on metrics they don't understand. When you send reports about impressions and clicks and all this shit, and they see, oh, hey, my impressions dropped by 10%, and then they hit you up, and none of it matters. Like, it only matters to us because we understand the data, and they don't. And so they're concerned about all these vanity metrics that have no, don't make any sort of difference. And
I totally get it. I mean, that is so funny you say that. I feel like I used to say that all the time, and I've been talking about this a lot recently. It's like almost that like mid funnel stuff that helps you optimize. At the end of the day, they should be paying it. I think the thing that matters to them, clicks, impressions, page views, even, none of that should matter. It's like, how much did you spend and what did you get for it? You spent all in ad spend plus retainer, whatever it is. It's like you spent, $5K. Did you get 100 leads, $50 per lead? You closed 20%. You got 10 sales, average sales 1,000. You made 10K. You spent 5. That's what I feel like should matter to them. And I definitely agree that I feel like so many times you give them too much information. They start just not that you want to not have them ask the questions, but it's like if you're, a pest control company, right? You're not gonna, if I'm the homeowner, I'm not gonna ask them like, hey, what kind of spray is that? Like, what are the ingredients of your spray? It's like,
no, exactly.
Doesn't matter. Like, we're getting rid of their bugs,
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. What kind of drill are you using? It's like, no, just put a hole right there, please.
Yeah.
So I think that's, look, if you're a really big agency that's working with really big clients, that they have a whole marketing department, sure, then if you're working with people that actually understand the data, that's different. But most of my clients, I would say 90% of my clients, I work directly with the owner, and most of the time the owner has a small understanding, but nowhere near the kind of understanding that one of us would have. And so I try to get them to focus on, the metrics that matter, which is, total number of conversions, total amount of money spent, and if they can track it, which not many do, but return on ad spend. That's really the only things that matter. And I swear the biggest headache I have is getting emails from like clients getting reports, and they're like, hey, why is this dropped? And it's like, so I'm going to switch it up.
I think you and I were messaging about a few weeks ago, because it ended up being like a user error. I totally forget what it was, but it's like,
it
was on the weekend sometime. I forget what it was, but it's like when people go into the account, and I've even heard some people, you said you own the account, so you might not have this problem, but like they'll go in, and how AdWords sometimes gives recommendations. The owners will accept the recommendation.
That literally just happened to me yesterday.
Really?
Yesterday, yeah. I was talking with my account manager, and she was like, yeah, he made, the client made all these changes. And I was like, looking, I'm like, what the hell? And so I called him. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? He's like, oh yeah. He was like, yeah, Google recommended I do all that stuff. I'm like, just don't make any more changes. And that's why I'm like, most of my clients still own their accounts and are getting reports. I wish I would have been doing this from the beginning. I really think it's how you sell it. If you're confident selling it this way, you will get clients. My whole problem all along is I felt like that it wasn't the way things were supposed to be done, because I read so many articles that said, no, the client should own their account, they should own their data, all this other stuff. And while that might be, I don't know, I don't want to subscribe to that anymore, because I really want to get my clients the best results possible, but also without me having a huge headache. And I think it is actually better for everyone all around when it's this way, because then they can just focus on the things that matter, and they don't have to worry about these reports that they don't understand.
Yep. So transitioning into reports. So talk to us about how how do you report to the clients? What is your cadence? Is it weekly? And then what is it a call? Like, is it, like how do you report to them?
Yeah, so it is weekly, but it shouldn't be. So that's one thing I would change. I'd probably just send one report a month. I've just been doing it a certain way, and I'm starting to find out that's not especially someone who's only spending $1,000 a month, and they're only getting like, a couple hundred clicks a month. They don't need reports every week. But right now, how I have it set up, it's weekly. My thought process in the very beginning was like, oh, that'll like, they'll be getting a report every week. So they're going to see, oh yeah, I'm on top of things. And as far as talking to my clients, there's some clients I talk to, that hit me up once every week or two. Fortunately, it's not that many. And then most of my clients, I rarely speak to, and they're fine with it. I'm fine with it. If there was one thing I would have done from the very beginning that I totally wish I want to get my cell phone number out to all my clients. A lot of my clients have my cell number just because it's, they will use it and they will hit you up. And now that I brought on an account manager and I'm not doing everything, some of them have, are okay with the fact, okay, now there's a new system. I'm going to email first. And if it's an emergency, I'll call the 800 number or whatever. And if it's really a big emergency, then I can call Mark. But then there's some clients who've been with me from the beginning. They're like, no, fuck that. I'm going to call you. So, I'm not following your new rules.
I'm a homie. I'm going straight to you.
Exactly. You're my guy. Fuck all that. Rules don't apply to me.
Yeah. So okay. So you brought on. I was actually thinking about that, and I forgot to ask. So what's the team dynamics? Do you have an account manager? You're outsourcing a lot of stuff to using Upwork. Is that kind of how it is now?
Yeah. So right now I've got just two appointment setters / sale. Well, now they're kind of salespeople since they're doing the pay-per-lead sales for me. But so I have two of them in office, and then I have one account manager, which I'll probably need to get a second one soon, just because. Yeah, it's quite a few clients to have only.
Yeah, almost 50 clients, right? Yeah,
sure,
that's what I was gonna say. That's a lot of clients, especially if you're doing weekly meetings. I mean, to have 50 just reporting.
Yeah, no. Well, fortunately, all the reporting is automated. But yeah, I mean, look, there's whenever you have that many clients, there's always so many things that come up, and I've found, too much of my time is still being dedicated to account management, which I would really like to remove myself from that so I can just focus on bigger picture stuff. But I need to probably find another account manager soon, probably sooner than later. It'd be better to hire one sooner and not need them than to hire one too late and be like, oh shit,
Yeah, it's always hard kind of growing the business too, because it's like, cash flow wise and timing, it's like, do I hire them early and then not have capacity for them and then them grow into it?
Exactly.
Then it's like, if I'm too late and I'm overflowed, then the customers aren't getting the best service as possible. So it's kind of like that weird, timing, cash thing that you gotta deal with. So what are you using for reporting?
I use Swidu. Yeah. I was going to switch. Yeah. Or Swidu or Swidu.
Yeah. Okay.
I was going to switch to Google Data Studio, but, I also use Bing Ads. And so I asked in an AdWords group about, Google Data Studio and Bing Ads. And I think they said you can even use Google Data Studio for Bing Ads, but, they charge me I think $110 or $150 a month. And to switch everyone over, I'm like, that's going to be a major pain in the ass. So I kind of decided against it. So it's been working. It's easy. It's all set up. It just, runs reports every Friday. So.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to wrap up here. I just have a couple questions to ask you at the end. If you were looking to break into online marketing, digital marketing today, you're at a job, you're maybe at an agency and you want to work for yourself, what would you do? What would be the first thing you would do to, get a client and to break out on your own?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think I would, pick something, whether that's, PPC, SEO. It probably wouldn't be SEO just because I think that can take a long time to learn. But I guess getting really good at PPC can take a while too. Just yeah, just get in, start learning something, and try to get your first client as soon as you can. I think a lot of people spend too much time in the learning phase and not enough time in the action phase in the beginning, where really how you're going to make money isn't through your PPC skills, it's through your sales skills. And so if you can't bring on clients, if that's the route you want to go, you know, like agency stuff, if you can't bring on clients, you're not going to make any money. So you could be the best PPC person in the world, and you know, if you can't sell, then
you're doing it for nobody.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, get as good as you can get, but don't worry about, you know, getting too good. Look, the first client I got, I lost in 3 weeks, you know, which was crazy to me because I had experience and I thought I knew what I was doing. Actually, no, not my first. My first client is still with me today. My second client that I got was only with me for a few weeks. And look, to this day, I still lose clients, you know. Well, everyone does, but meaning there are some campaigns I build to this day that I'm like, why is this not getting leads? And it like racking my brain. It's so frustrating because I feel like, you know, I'm pretty good at this point. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it so long, but I still have clients that for some reason or another, I'm like, I don't know why, but I just can't get this person leads. Fortunately, it doesn't happen very often. So
yeah, that's good. All right, final question. What is your morning routine?
It's nothing crazy like yoga or anything. I pretty much just get up, drink some coffee, check emails, take a shower, and get into work as soon as I can, pretty much. I don't linger. I used to work from home for the longest time.
That's what I was going to say. So it looks like you have an office.
It's made like massive difference for me. I'm just not one of those people.
All right, you there?
Yeah.
All right, so sorry. So yeah. So you said you're not one of those people, and then that's when it paused. So you're not one of those people.
So what I was saying is, yeah, I spent too much time working from home. I wish I would have gotten an office sooner, just because, my business has been like this since I've gotten an office. And I think it's because when I'm here, I'm just all in, you know. And when I was at home, I was all in for an hour or two, and then I'd go fuck around, you know, and then come back, and you know. Here I am 100% focused. So, yeah.
Yeah, I also agree with you. That separation, and I even I was working from home, and then I was like, I just actually sometimes just needed to get out because I was like, I'm going crazy. Like I need to like talk to other humans and stuff.
Exactly.
We got working space, and that was good. And now we actually got another space, like another office space, where I actually have to travel because I was like just walking to work. And now I have to travel, and I just feel like just mentally having that, like, I have to like leave and go to work, that it's like, I'm all in, I'm not doing anything else. Cause like you said, it's like, you're at home, you're like, I can kind of like do something else, but here you're just like, I also think being around other people, like everyone else is grinding, and then it's like, that just like lifts you.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, if I was here by myself, I wouldn't even be as motivated. When I'm here with other people and they're all, getting shit done, I'm like, I'm not going to fuck around, you know?
Yeah.
Especially because I'm paying everyone, you know?
Yeah.
Get to work.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Super excited to have you on. Can you tell everyone a little bit about your website, where to find you, all of that?
Yeah. I'm at clixprofit.com, just CLIX profit. And hit me up if you have any questions. Just add me on Facebook, Mark Petree, 2 E's at the end. And I'm always happy to help new and upcoming agency owners and answer any questions or whatever. So would be happy to help.
All right. Awesome. Mark Petree, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, that was episode 6 of Growing Your Agency. Thank you, Mark, and we'll see you later.
All right. Peace.